class, we will study the chapter 9, that is Thomas Marvel. Okay. See, after the Iping village, he comes to, there, this invisible man or the griffin, he comes to know that he can't resist there more much because everybody has come to know his real color. So he understood that if he stay there for a longer time, no period of no period of uh, time he will stay there alone, because there many people have come across his familiarities, and they start treating him invisible or a strange personality. Later, from there he goes to the another place. There he meets a person called Thomas Marvel. Okay, Thomas Marvel. So now we will study what he does do with Thomas Marvel, and his experience, his friendly relationship with Thomas Marvel. So open the page number, I mean, if you have a PDF, okay, open the page number 74. I mean, it is in my text, it is 74. The title of the chapter is Mr. Thomas Marvel. Okay, Mr. Thomas Marvel. Here, Thomas Marvel has a large face, an enormous nose, and expressive mouth, and a wild-looking beard. See here in the chapter 9, that is Thomas Marvel, there in the first initial stanzas, they have given the introduction of his physical appearance. How does this Thomas Marvel look? Okay, Thomas Marvel has a large face, an enormous nose, means a big nose, and an expressive mouth and wild-looking beard. He is short and wears a furry silk hat. His clothes are held together with a string and shoelace where buttons should be. He tries on a pair of boots. He is found in a leisurely manner. Leisurely manner means completely lazy and free manner. Okay, so he found in a completely leisurely and a free manner, which is he how does everything, means that indicates that completely he's always lazy in his actions and in his works. They are too big for him, but will protect him from the rain. Means his all hat, every cloth that he is wearing, it is too big for him. But those things will protect him from the rain. He discusses the boots with an unknown voice belonging to Griffin. When Morval describes his struggle, the voice replies, "It's beast of a country and picks for the people." Marvel agrees. See, Thomas Marvel is initially presented as a comic figure. Remember, Thomas Marvel initially presented as a comic figure in the novel. Okay, somewhat akin to the Shakespearean fool. Okay, he is odd looking and behaves in a silly manner. This Thomas Marvel is odd looking and behaves in a very silly manner. He is odd looking and behaves in a silly manner, particularly in his reactions to Griffin, which is distinct contrast from that of the other characters thus far. Whereas most of the people in Iping reacted to Griffin with the skepticism. Skepticism means, keeping doubts on him and confusion. Marvel appears to accept this disembodies the voice with ease. Okay. See, for everybody, this Griffin, okay, or the strange man, he was a strange man, and it was a strange appearance for everybody. But only Marvel, that is only Thomas Marvel, he considers a Griffin or the strange man as one among the common man, okay, as one among the common man, and he treats him well. So later, suddenly, Marvel is confused. Okay, this scene continues in a comic manner, but the joke is cruelly at Marvel's expenses. Griffin's decisions to throw stones at Marvel to prove that he is real in early indications that does not respect Marvel. Okay, he is happy to treat him cruelly and even violently for no real reason at all. Suddenly, Marvel is confused. He asked, "Where are, you?" and wonders aloud if he is drunk to, hallucinating. See what happens. Marvel, he was making a fun of himself. He was saying that, everything that what I am wearing, it is really great, and I'm, he was quoting great or prestigious things for himself. But then what happens? Here, Griffin, in order to make him to make Thomas Marvel to sense his presence. Means Griffin should feel that not I am talking, but there is somebody who is talking on behalf of me. So Thomas Marvel wanted to sense it. So what does this Griffin does? He takes the stone and he throws at the face of this Thomas Marvel. Okay, he takes the stone and he throws the stone at the face of Thomas Marvel because he wanted to make this Thomas Marvel to sense that there is somebody with his presence. Okay, so yet Marvel grows increasingly alarmed that he is not drunk, but there is really somebody who is throwing stone beside him, and he okay. So increasingly alarmed, declaring that he must be insane. The voice, okay, the invisible voice says he will throw stones at Marvel to prove he is not imaginary. Okay, he does so and asks if Marvel still believes he is hallucinating. Hallucinating means intoxicated, nasha. Okay, so kuಡ್ದಾಗ nasha ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗ. So Thomas Marvel, okay, he was in hallucinating manner, insisting that he has drunk much and there is no one that's throwing stone beside him. But this Griffin or the strange man, he starts throwing stones very much beside him uh, in order to make him to feel that that is not imaginary or that is not hallucination, but it is really real. Okay, and really there is somebody who is torturing him and who is really there beside him. Okay, then he does so and asks if Marvel still believes he is hallucinating. Marvel is baffled, muttering to himself, stones flinging themselves, stones talking, I am done. Okay, see, stones flinging, I am done, and stones talking that flinging themselves. This is one of the first instances in which the restrictions inherent within Griffin's invisibility are revealed. Before, his invisibility was presented as something that gave him a sort of limitless power. However, it is now becomes apparent that not everything about invisibility is advantageous as it first appears. Okay, here Griffin explains that he is an invisible man at Marvels doesn't believe him, but Griffin continues to explain that he is a normal man who needs food, drink, shelter, everything. See, as I have told you that this Griffin is a normal man in his internal appearance because he wants food to eat, water to drink, air to breathe, okay, and shelter also. Yet he is invisible. Yet he is invisible. He need all the necessary things like how the common man's need. Okay, Marvel asks to shake Griffin's hand and is frightened when he feels Griffin's grip on him. See, Marvel says that I believe everything what you are saying, but how could I sense your presence? Means, the stones are throwing at me, the stones are being hit me. I feel that the stones have some supernatural elements, but how should I believe that you are there beside me? Because I could listen to your voice, but I can't see you. So what does Thomas Marvel do? Just shake my hand with me. Okay, so here he says that when Griffin grips on him, thus Thomas Marvel becomes scared. Okay, Marvel stunned and stares at the space where he believes Griffin to be and asks if Griffin has been eating bread and cheese. Griffin explains that he has and that it has been fully been digested yet, which is Marvel can see it now. So now Marvel finds that Griffin's Marvel finds Griffin's presence enter okay. Marvel finds Griffin's presence entrancing. But Griffin explains that invisibility is not of so wonderful as you think. Marvel asks how Griffin has made himself invisible. But Griffin says it's too long to explain. He tells Marvel that he needs help and that he has written in turn to himself because he is an outcast like myself. Griffin explains that he wants Marvel to help to get clothes and shelter. He emphasizes that he has chosen Marvel as special specifically. Then later, then it there he is one of the only people who knows about Griffin and his invisibility. He begins to warn Marvel about what will happen if he betrays him. But Marvel cuts him off, saying that he will never do that. So today, I will wind up the class here because this is my third class that I have been continued since the morning. My data is not supporting much here. I will just summarize the ninth chapter here. See, after this odd or the strange situation, Griffin goes to the place of Thomas Morval. Thomas Morval is considered as the comic element or the comic figure in the whole novel. Okay, there we can sense the gesture of the Thomas Morval, that he has over a long bush shirts, okay, and big shoes. Then he has a very griffy hat. This all indicates like how the comic characters are there in every movies. Okay, so here he was, he always drinks, and in hallucination he talks to himself. So when he was sitting outside, there some stones hits him. So he feels that it might be imaginary, or might be I am drunk much, and in the hallucination I'm feeling so. But Griffin, but Griffin, in order to make himself to understand that he has been hitting by the Griffin, or he wants to make this Thomas Morville to understand that there is really somebody who is, somebody is there beside me. Okay, so there Griffin makes him, he starts hitting him. So when Thomas Morville understands that really this is not an imaginary, or this is not my imagination, somebody really there beside me. So okay, who are you? He starts talking to him. So he here Thomas Marvel, he asks everything about this invisible man, okay, or the Griffin. So he tells him that yet I am invisible, or since I am an invisible, I need all the shelter, food, and water to drink, and air to breathe, like how all the common people needs. Okay. So later, he tells that Thomas Morwell tells him that I agree with you that I will provide all the necessary things to you, but you have to tell me what make you to be invisible man. So in the next class, we will see in detail that how this invisible man become invisible man, and what will be the close relation, how the close relation will grow or develop between Thomas Marvel and this invisible man. Okay, so start inserting your roll numbers.